Welcome back to episode 2 of Laverne and Shirley Revisited. I am your host, Jack Vodio Dodo Trades, the bigger ragu, if you want to call it that way. This episode, we're going to talk about the characters of Laverne and Shirley, how I saw them then, how I see them now, kind of the wackiest side of it. I treat these people as real people, as I actually know them, and I have a hatred for Shirley Feeney that I just can't help but express. So, welcome to the show, and welcome to episode 2. We want to thank whoever it is, we don't even remember who it was, for the theme music. Each episode of all 7 episodes that we do, we are going to do a different theme cover song. We got Juliette Lewis, we got all sorts of people who are covering the Laverne and Shirley theme song. So we just want to say thank you to those guys who are covering our songs, and we are going to provide the links to that song and that band so you can find out who they are if you dig their stuff. We also want to thank our sponsors, Tie the Knot Weddings, alternative weddings for alternative people, gay, transgender, Star Wars, whatever you want to do, they'll help you out. And Love Your Library, that's an Instagram that I love, at LUV, Your Library. Those are our sponsors. We want to get right to it. We want to talk about the characters of this show. Obviously, the 2 main characters would be Laverne and Shirley. Laverne DeFazio, her father also was in the show. He was the owner of the Pizza Bowl, which was a bowling alley, which was a pizza place, and they served a lot of beer there. Laverne moved in with her best friend in the basement on Knapp Street. Her name was Shirley Feeney. And Laverne and Shirley were 2 young girls who were bottle cappers, all-American blue-collar working girls and bottle cappers at Shots Brewery in Milwaukee. This show was set in the 50s and 60s, but it actually aired in the 70s and 80s. If you watch the first episode, you'll know that it was a spin-off. But Laverne was the tougher of the 2. Shirley was a little bit whinier. Shirley was a little bit more demure. She wasn't as tough as Laverne. Laverne actually got in fist fights. She had an arch nemesis, Big Rosie Greenbaum. Laverne didn't take no snot. If you gave her any guff, she definitely gave you one back. You got a knuckle sandwich right back in the face. Her and Shirley actually had a bunch of fights. They actually fought over a guy one time. Shirley bit the hair out of Laverne bit the hair out of Shirley. It was amazing. Many times Laverne would scrap it up with the boys, scrap it up with the girls. She didn't care. She was a tough cookie and didn't mess around. Both girls were always looking for love, always looking to grab the brass ring. They never seemed to be able to do so, you know. Shirley Feeney, she was another girl. So it was weird. Shirley had a Brooklyn accent, super Brooklyn thick accent in the beginning, in the very first couple episodes. Lost the accent completely, became a different person. You know, that's why I don't like Shirley. I don't like Shirley because, one, she always acted like she was better than everybody else, okay? And she would always give Laverne crap about stuff that she didn't need to give her about. And 2 is she was so nasty to that guy, Carmine Ragusa, the big ragu, Carmine Ragusa. He never got it. He dated her forever. She kissed him. She would make out with him. Every episode, he was taking a cold shower and he was going home with a set of blue, you know what. And that's not fair. I think Shirley Feeney was a mean person. And then at the very end, she ended up meeting this doctor, and because she's so shallow and she always wanted a doctor, she married this doctor. We've never seen him on camera. We've never seen his face. But she left the episode. She got knocked up and she was gone. So it just shows what kind of a shallow person she was. And she could have at least gave it to Carmine. When they moved to California, the guy changed his whole life, and she just never gave it to him. So, you know, F them. F Shirley Feeney. Actually, our email is shirleyfeeneysucks@gmail.com. So if you want to email us, it's easy to remember. Let's talk about Frank. Frank DeFazio was Laverne's dad. He owned the Pizza Bowl. And, you know, I never understood it when I was 9 watching this show. Why is this guy yelling all the time? He screams all the time. And then I lived with Italians for a few years, and I get it. I totally get it now. But still, I mean, he always seemed like he was very angry, but he really loved Laverne, and it was a lot of fun. Frank was the only one who couldn't sing and dance. Frank never sang and danced, and that will be an important one in the next episode when we talk about music and the different talent. Everybody seemed to have this amazing talent. Frank was the only one who didn't. Now, he did do a ventriloquist act one time, but other than that, he was the only one who didn't. Everybody else could sing and act. Frank ended up marrying Edna Babish. Edna Babish was the landlord of the house of Laverne and Shirley. She was also the landlord of Lenny Squiggy. We will talk about them in a minute, but I have a whole show to dedicate to Lenny and Squiggy. But Edna Babish was the landlord. She's a good-looking woman, but she could dance and she could sing, and she was very talented. And she had a few husbands. She had a back storyline, you know, and all that. But she ended up marrying Frank. And in the last season, they didn't in real life, they didn't expect to do a season 8. So the lady who played Edna Betty Garrett, she said, I'm not committed. I'm going to go do something else because she didn't think that they were going to do a season 8. So when they did a season 8, they had to write Ed and Bab a shop. So they wrote her out as just leaving Frank. She just left him. You know, no explanation. Done. You know what I mean? So that was kind of a weird send-off. I go back, I'm trying to find season 8. When I find season 8 and I start watching them again, I want to see how they handled that because it's going to be very interesting. Carmine Ragusa, the big ragu. Here was a guy. This guy was a great character because that character in that time frame, he was a dancer, but he was a tough guy. He was a good-looking guy. He was a good singer. But they made him a Golden Gloves boxing champion. And the reason they did that, I know the reason they did that, is because they knew they couldn't get a dancer and a singer over. So as soon as he started doing the pirouettes and the different dancing moves and stuff like that, they were like, well, if he's a legit Golden Gloves boxer, you know, nobody will call him any names. So that's why I think they did that. But like that guy Eddie Mecca who played him, it was actually showed up on Always Sunny in Philadelphia not too long ago, and I popped real hard when I saw him because who doesn't love the Big Ragu? He always sang a song by Tony Bennett called "I Go From Rags to Riches," and it always cracked me up because I'm sure he didn't ask Tony for copyright. I'm sure he didn't go up to him and say, "Hey, we're going to use your song." It was just they just used a song. It became his moniker. Carmine was one of the most talented guys on the show. He ran a dance club. Had a dance studio. He taught people how to dance. He could sing. He could do everything. He was an amazing talent. When they had the Shots Brewery, which I don't know any job that has a talent show every year, but apparently, you know, if you work in a brewery, in Shots Brewery in Milwaukee, they have a talent show every year, so everybody could sing and dance and get a spot. But Carmine was always a big hit at the Shots Brewery talent shows, and he was always a big hit. As far as he would just be singing anywhere. He'd be singing in the middle of a pizza bowl. You know, nobody cared. He'd go from no, I'm not going to sing. Okay, but we go from them to Big Rosie Greenbaum. That was the arch nemesis. A lot of people don't remember her. She wasn't in every episode, but Rosie was that big bouffant, big style hair, but she had a even bigger attitude. She married rich. She would wear foxes and stoles and diamonds, and then she would just flaunt it in front of the girls and put it over how much better she was because she had money. Laverne did not put up with her stuff. And there was many times, you know, as soon as Big Rosie Greenbaum dropped the word bimbo, we cleared the furniture, and it was on. Laverne started going. So Rosie was a tough one. On the other side of that, Terry Buttafuoco was in one episode. They talked about her all the time. Terry Buttafuoco was a big tall girl, big tough girl. She actually was training with Laverne to do pro wrestling against the tag team. And of course, Laverne and Shirley ended up doing the tag team. But Terry Buttafuoco was another character that just got interjected here and there. But you heard the name a lot, but you didn't really see the face that much. But she wasn't a main character. She was just a walk-on. But she was a lot of fun, especially in that episode. Lenny and Squiggy were definitely a major part of that show. A lot of people don't look at it that way because it's the Laverne and Shirley show. But without Lenny and Squiggy, I don't think the show would have worked. Because they were probably the best comedic team on the show. They did physical comedy. They were musical comedy. They were just them, just the way they talked. And if you're a Trailer Park Boy fan and you like the way Ricky messes up the words and screws things up like that, well, Lenny and Squiggy were doing that in the 70s. They were way ahead of that. They were probably one of the funniest teams around. And I got to be honest with you, when they put out the record Lenny and the Squigtones, I bought it. I bought it. I loved Lenny and Squiggy. But if you think about it, the reality is, basically they were breaking and entering almost every show. Because they never knocked. They just kicked in the door, hello, and that was it. You know what I mean? Every time. It was always after some weird thing, you know, like Laverne would say, oh, it's like a bucket of slime. And they would kick in the door and go, hello. That's breaking and entering. That's a crime. So basically, they were criminals almost every show. Nobody really paid attention. Now, with that being said, when we provided links to the very first episode and the pilot episode of Laverne and Shirley, they stole 2 dresses. They never even get confronted. No one gets in trouble. No one even says anything. But they stole 2 dresses for Laverne and Shirley to wear to a debutante affair. And right there, they show you from the very first episode, they're criminal. They're just bad people. That's just the way it is. I also want to bring one character into play. It's not even actually a human being, but Boo Boo Kitty. Everybody who ever watched Laverne and Shirley knows who Boo Boo Kitty is. Boo Boo Kitty is Shirley Feeney's stuffed cat. And everything I read, it was something that she just happened to find on set, and she used it for a prop one day, and it actually stuck. But I just think it's kind of funny that it's just one of those things that, like, if you speak to anybody who was a Laverne and Shirley fan, Boo Boo Kitty is definitely one of the topics. Boo Boo Kitty, pizza bowl, milk and Pepsi. These are things about Laverne and Shirley and the characters that you just associate with them. Now, I'm actually going to test milk and Pepsi. I used to actually drink it back then because I was influenced enough by hearing about it enough from Laverne that I actually used to drink it. I remember that it used to make the foam real weird, and I didn't like that, but I used to like the taste. And you can't let it settle. If it settles for more than a few minutes and you don't drink it right away, it gets really, really weird looking. But yeah, we're going to do a milk and Pepsi test for sure. The characters on Laverne and Shirley, they were lovable characters, all-American hard workers. Lenny and Squiggy worked at the Scottsboro as truck drivers. Laverne and Shirley were bottle cappers. You know, they were just the blue-collar, everyday workers. I think that's why the show actually touched people and connected with people. They weren't debutantes. They weren't somebody who lived a high and fluting life or nothing like that. They were just two all-American girls, you know, just trying to get by, you know, and having a lot of fun. And they have two idiots who lived upstairs and a weird landlord who latches onto your dad. And I don't know, it's the hilarity ensues. I always loved the show, but revisiting now, watching it now, some of the characters, you know, I don't know. I hang out with them. Except Shirley Feeney.
Bimbo! Yeah! Bimbo! Excuse me.
For 2 seconds? You ought to be ashamed of yourself at a bridal shower. And you squaring off in your own apartment. She drowned my fox.
She called me a bimbo.
All right, clear the room, move the couch back, pick up the gifts, all the breakable items. How you doing?
Okay, honey. You look like a real queen, Laverne.
Hey, Mabel, ain't that the creep that called you a banana face?
Yeah, I'm gonna kill her.
Hey, what are you talking about? This is just supposed to be an exhibition.
How about an exhibition of you two tearing her apart?
Hey, the Fabio, show 'em what you're made of.
Hey, you see them there wearing masks? Well, when we get done with them, they're gonna need masks permanently. Here, hold on to this. Hey, that was a pretty good one, huh?
Yeah, well, I got another good one.
Hey, I remember you. You're banana face. Oh, you're a professional wrestler. How nice.
It's getting late. Where are those girls?
At the Bloom Pop, it will be 7 o'clock.
You would have made a great time, lady.
Yeah, sure.
Got any tens?
Go fish.
Gee, Mr. DeFazio was very calm. Why can't Laverne be like that? Shirley is.
Shirley.
Shirley's always very calm.
Sure, sure. You keep believing that, you believe anything you read in the papers. You remember the time that we babysitted for her? We gave away the baby. You think she was gonna go crazy?
We got to remain very calm about this. Oliver, I'm getting hysterical! Where is that baby? Thank you. You hit me. I'm sorry. I was trying to get a grip on myself. I'm calling the police. No, I'm calling the police about
see you next time on episode 3 when we talk about music, the crazy music connections, how Lenny and Squiggy had an album, Laverne and Shirley had an album, how they actually performed all the time. Everybody sang and danced. Everybody sang and danced. How Shirley actually was a good singer. Even though I don't like her, she was a good singer. I gotta say it. But I'm going to play clips from Lenny and Squiggy's albums. I'm going to play something from Laverne and Shirley Sings. And we're going to talk about the connection to Spinal Tap. We're going to talk about the connection to Kiss. And we're going to talk about the connection to The Simpsons. And that's on the next show, episode 3 of Laverne and Shirley Revisited. As always, I am Jack Bodie Trades. We'll see you later.